I've decided to go back and finish all my old favourite games, getting the platinum for those that have one. Last time we survived Until Dawn, and now we're going to take on the masterpiece that is Assassin's Creed 2. Released in 2009 and developed by Ubisoft Montreal, Assassin's Creed 2 leaves the Holy Land and takes us to Renaissance Italy to follow Ezio Auditore da Firenze, a young carefree noble of 17 whose life is turned upside down when his father and brothers are unjustly executed and he sets out for revenge against those responsible. If you're wondering why I'm starting with the second game in the franchise, that's because the first Assassin's Creed was made before trophies were a thing on PlayStation, and I'm hoping beyond hope that Ubisoft will one day answer my prayers and give this game the remaster it deserves. I mean, I know it's not the best game in the franchise, and compared to later entries it's pretty basic and repetitive, but literally every other game in the franchise has either a remaster or backwards compatibility. As long as you don't include the handheld games, and come on, who includes the handheld games? Now I know the Xbox version had achievements, so I could get all the achievements there, but I don't want to. Anyway, AC2 is considered by many, including myself, to be one of, if not the best game in the franchise, learning from the first game's issue of feeling repetitive and stale by giving us a wider range of missions and side objectives, a protagonist so suave and beloved he ended up with his own trilogy of games, and a soundtrack so iconic that there's been a rendition of Ezio's family in almost every game since. Now, I'm not gonna lie, Assassin's Creed was the first game franchise I was obsessed with. The first 3 games were already out, and Revelations was just around the corner when I got to the series, which made it very easy to sink my teeth into and really make these games my entire personality for most of my teen years. And while I do still enjoy the newer installments, for me, they just don't really live up to the nostalgia of these early games, so I'm very excited to be replaying them again and finally becoming a master assassin. We start off with an intro cinematic which explains to us what happened in the first game, and if you don't know what happened there, well, that's kind of on me for starting with the second game. Okay, real quick recap. We play as Desmond, aka Subject 17, who's been kidnapped by Abstergo, who are secretly actually the Templars, aka the bad guys. They force us into a machine called the Animus, which lets us relive the lives of our ancestors through our DNA, so they can find powerful magical artifacts called Pieces of Eden to help them control the world. All caught up? Good. Because Eleanor from the good place is here to kidnap us away from the bad place and take us to a kind of medium place. But first, we need to hop in the Animus and be born again as Ezio.
Ezio Auditore da Firenze.
Which gets us our first achievement, Birth of an Assassin. Now we need to ditch the Animus and sneak out of Abstergo, which is surprisingly easy. All we need to do is sneak down a few corridors, use our eagle vision to guess the passcode of an elevator, and have our ass handed to us by a bunch of guards in the car park. Fortunately, we still have Lucy with us, and she's one badass bitch, so she shoves us in the boot of a car and gets us the achievement Arrivederci Abstergo for breaking us out. Soon enough, we arrive at the assassin hideout, meet Sean and Rebecca, our resident historian and technician respectively, and get thrown right back into Baby.
Baby? You mean the Animus?
Actually, I prefer Animus 2.0, since Baby's twice as awesome as anything you'll find at Abstergo. The Templars might have deeper pockets than us, but they've got no ambition, no passion, no competitive edge. That's why, even with all their resources, anything they can do, I can do better. Faster, too.
It's a small thing, but I do love when developers come up with in-universe reasons for why the game performs better than the last one. We get the achievement Welcome to the Animus 2.0, and I'll give you 3 guesses how we got that. Side note, we're barely 20 minutes into the game and we've already got 3 achievements, and I haven't really done all that much. Games back in the day just gave these things out for fun. Anyway, we're properly introduced to our best boy Ezio and our minor antagonist Vieri de Pazzi. Think Joffrey, but somehow even more cowardly. To his credit, Vieri does throw the rock that gives Ezio his iconic scar, but it's pretty much the only significant thing he actually does, since he runs away from pretty much every fight as soon as his hired cronies start losing. The first couple of chapters of the game are basically extended tutorials, teaching us the basics of the game, like fighting, looting, and free running. After visiting a doctor to fix our busted lip, our brother Federico challenges us to a race and leads us into one of the most memorable title sequences to date.
It is a good life we lead, brother.
The best. May it never change.
And may it never change us.
That's so good! Ah!
All right. Enough of that. We really should head home. Let's go.
Wait.
What? Ezio, let Christina sleep.
There will be time enough for that. Later.
I do wonder what Federico... I suppose it's just so that, he'll despawn, rather than having him, climb down and everything like that. But what's Federico thinking there? Ezio's like, hey, I'm gonna go fuck real quick. And Federico's like, alright, I'll just stay here on top of this tower rather than go home, which is also just over there, you can see it from the vantage point. After a night of passion with Christina, we head home for another round of tutorial missions. We beat the shit out of our sister Claudia's unfaithful boyfriend, introduce ourselves to Leonardo da Vinci, and gather a few feathers for our brother Petruchio, kickstarting one of the most annoying side quests in history, but we'll get to that later. For now, our father Giovanni has a few errands for us to run, and each one seems more mysterious than the last. Delivering packages to thieves and courtesans who seem to know Ezio's respectable noble banker father personally, and collecting a note from a pigeon coop before spying armed guards sprinting through the streets. We return home to find the place ransacked, our father and brothers missing, and our mother in shock from the attack. Turns out Giovanni and the others have been taken to prison, so the family maid takes our mother and sister to safety while we climb the Palazzo della Signoria and talk with Giovanni. He tells us to head back to the house and find his secret room to collect some things and deliver them to Uberto Alberti, a family friend we met earlier. The game's dropped hints about a legal/political case that Giovanni's been involved in, and the documents we collect should clear his name, so we head back and find some fresh drip. That's what the kids say these days, right? Fresh drip? Fresh drip of Bel Air?
It's sad to think that these probably weren't actually meant for Ezio. Like, they were Giovanni's clothes, but Federico was actually in training to be an assassin, which I don't think the game ever explicitly says, but from what I remember, he is. Like, Petruchio obviously wasn't, but Federico, I'm pretty sure, was, like, actively knowing about the assassins and being a part of it. And he's like helping groom Ezio to join it when he's old enough. That's what Giovanni says they're going to talk about. Like, we have some things to discuss. Like, it's probably going to be, hey, we got to go. By the way, we're assassins. So these clothes were probably meant for Federico as the eldest, not Ezio. Which does make it a little bit awkward that Ezio's never actually told to put these clothes on. He just does. Like, Giovanni's like, take everything inside, and Ezio has put on the clothes. Okay, got it.
Ezio Auditore? What are you doing here at this hour?
We deliver the documents to Uberto Alberti, who assures us everything will be cleared up in the morning, and then we apparently stand outside his front door till morning and head off to the hearing. Except when we arrive, it looks like the hearing's been skipped. Turns out Uberto's a double agent and never cleared Giovanni's name, so we watch our father and brothers take a short drop and a sudden stop before being forced to flee from the guards. On the right side though, we do get the pain of betrayal for completing sequence 1, so, you know, not all bad. Every cloud, as they say. Into sequence 2, we head to the safe house our sister and mother were taken to and meet Paola, the Madam of La Rosa Colta, who teaches us how to blend with the crowd and pickpocket nearby civilians. We then head over to see our buddy Leo to see if he can fix Giovanni's broken hidden blade, which he does by decoding the codex page we found with it, and now we can head off to kill Uberto. But first we climb back up above La Rosa Colta and use our eagle vision to scan a glowing glyph on the roof. These are puzzles left by the mysterious Subject 16, which we need to decipher to unlock the truth. They start off pretty easy, like this first one where the word core at the top hints we need to find every painting with an apple in it, but they'll steadily get harder as we go on, and there's 20 of them dotted around Italy that we need to find. For scanning and completing this first one, we get the achievement's tip of the iceberg and a piece of the puzzle, and we can finally head off to our first proper assassination mission. We tail Uberto as he speaks to Lorenzo de Medici and arrives at an art exhibit. Then we hire some nearby courtesans to distract the guards at the door and sneak inside so we can riddle Uberto with enough holes to rival a pincushion. Now, Ezio may have been taught to blend with the crowd and kill those he needs to, but apparently at no point in his training did anybody mention that typically, after you've publicly murdered someone, it's not a good idea to stick around and yell your full name to the crowd of shocked onlookers.
The Auditori are not dead! I'm still here! Me! Ezio! Ezio Auditore!
Fortunately, this has literally no effect on the actual narrative of the game and really only serves to teach us about the notoriety system. Performing conspicuous actions like stealing, fighting and assassinating will raise your notoriety and make it easier for guards to recognize you. Fortunately, Paola teaches us some ways to counter this, like bribing town criers, ripping down wanted posters, and murdering false witnesses. Apparently the best way to get away with murder is to just keep on murdering. Now that we're back in incognito mode, it's time to break the news to Claudia that Daddy's dead and he's never coming back, and also we need to flee the city.
Mum, sis, we're going to visit Uncle Mario. I'm taking this group of courtesans with us.
We'll fall in.
Don't mind
How
them.
could this have happened to us?
We're all going on a little bit of a holiday, guys. Hope you don't mind. Don't lag behind now. I know which one has the least stamina.
On me.
What will happen to our house?
I don't know.
Were they given a proper
Oh,
burial?
they decided not to come along.
Yes, they were.
Well, we might not be getting any action tonight, but we do get the trophy Vengeance for completing sequence 2, which is just as good, right? Right? Who needs sex when there's achievements to get? Just around the corner from safety, Vieri's hiding with a bunch of guards we have to fend off until a mysterious stranger shows up with some mercenaries of his own and sends Vieri running.
You have my thanks.
Keep the sword, Ezio. Do I know you from somewhere?
Don't you recognize me? It's a me, Mario!
Uncle Mario?
With Nintendo's lawyers knocking at the gates, it's time to safely get inside Monteriggioni and the Auditore Villa, and by timing it just right, we can grab this glyph on the wall without getting too far away from the group. Mario sends us off to buy some armor and a dagger we'll never use, while he figures some stuff out and convinces us to stay for a while so he can teach us how to fight properly before leaving. The game tries to give you these lore dumps during the fighting tutorials, but the actions are so simple that they've barely said a couple of sentences before you're moving on to the next one. So, to keep it brief, Giovanni was an assassin with Mario raised from birth to fight the Templars. But while Mario sought action and battle, Giovanni preferred the quieter life of a banker and worked from the shadows instead. They hunted the Codex pages together for years, as well as other pieces of Eden, and Giovanni almost killed Rodrigo Borgia, Grand Master of the Templars, on several occasions. Despite finding out the secret life's work of his family, Ezio's still determined to take Maria and Claudia away from Italy and head to Spain, until he hears that Mario has headed out to Tuscany with his men to deal with Vieri di Pazzi, who's been harassing them since Ezio arrived. Following close behind, we catch up with Mario and help him infiltrate San Giamagno, causing enough commotion for us to sneak up on Vieri and take him out for good. As cocky as he is cowardly, Vieri dies without revealing a thing, and Ezio's anger almost gets the better of him, until Mario gives him a reality check and we hear those famous words for the first time.
Che la morte ti dia le pace che cercavi, requiesca in pace.
We head back to the Auditore Villa and celebrate before Mario takes us to his study and shows us all his cool posters. These Codex pages are dotted all around the game and not only increase our health, which is particularly useful to us at the moment, but the plot requires us to find all of them before the last chapter of the game. Fortunately, we've already found a few and we can add them to the wall, but there's 4 dotted around Monteriggioni that we need to go and collect. Also hidden around the villa are 8 statuettes, and collecting all of them not only gives us a solid 8,000 florins, but also the achievement Mythmaker. And not long after, we get Exit the Sun for finding the 4 Codex pages too, bringing an end to Sequence 3. I head to the Architect and purchase as many upgrades as I can, but you only need 1 for the achievement Handyman. Pretty much every penny we have that doesn't replenish consumables will be put into improving Monteriggioni as much as we can, since we get some rent every 20 in-game minutes, and the better the town, the more we get, so the faster we funnel money here, the faster we can buy everything else we need. Our journey then takes us back to Florence, where we meet with Leonardo again, and he fashions for us the iconic second hidden blade and gives us a clue as to how we can meet a mysterious character called La Volpe. We head to the spot Leo mentioned when we're robbed by a passing thief, and we catch him much faster than we're apparently meant to, because next thing we know we're on a rooftop far away and we meet the real Volpe, who reveals to us how we can sneak into the secret Templar meeting we know Francesco de Pazzi, Vieri's father, will be attending. Turns out there are catacombs spread across Florence, and if we use one of these secret assassin entrances, we can eavesdrop on the meeting. There are 6 of these dotted around Italy, and they tend to have similar action paths, mixing parkour, puzzle solving, and fighting skills until you reach the end, usually chasing a guard who's going to tattle on you to the others. We reach the end of the tomb and hear a group of Templars including Rodrigo Borgia and Francesco scheming some kind of attack against the Medici the next day. Clued into their plan, we head out to leave, but not before finding an assassin's tomb and plundering the treasure there, including a large seal. No, not that one. Not that one either. Before we left Monteriggioni, Mario showed us the Sanctuary, an area below the villa which housed the armour of Altair, locked away behind bars. The seal we found in the tomb is the first key to getting that gate open, and we'll be beelining for that armour as soon as we can, since it's the best in the game and we need it for the story to progress later anyway. As we leave the tomb, we get the trophy, The Undertaker! Sorry. We get the trophy Undertaker and head off to do some non-story achievements for a bit. Starting off with Mailman for intercepting a Borgia courier and Macho Man for dealing with an unfaithful husband.
Why do I think I know?
Oh god, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, that was a mistake. I'm sorry. Oh no. Oh god. I didn't realise I still had my thing equipped. Macho man. Yeah, I feel really macho right now. Oh god, I'm sorry.
We also head to the Santa Maria del Fiore and work our way through the tomb there, which is essentially an extended puzzle parkour section through the Duomo to get another seal and the trophy choir boy, as well as I Like the View not long after for synchronising 10 viewpoints, and Lightning Strike for sprinting 100 metres uninterrupted, which I'm genuinely surprised took so long since I feel like I'm never not running.
I have done face-to-face customer service in the past, like waiter in hospitality.
Oh yeah.
Mackey's.
Oh yes, the Mackey's. You never worked at Mackey's, did you, David?
No.
No.
Thank God.
Oh, he's not one. He doesn't know the struggle. They also had 2 roles that were very fun to do. One was just drinks, and that was literally your job. You were at the drive-through window, and you had the drinks machine in front of you, and your little screen, and it pops up saying large Sprite. So you'd make a large Sprite and put it on the table. Hot chocolate. So you'd make a hot chocolate and put it on the table. That was your job for like 8 hours. And I was like, that is piss easy. If they put me on this every single time, I'll stay here the rest of my life.
Apparently my role was higher than the people. Like when they were showing like the role things, I'm like, surely not. I'm the one that's having to do fucking cleaning. So sure it makes sense.
Cleaning's
fucking...
important though.
Yeah, but cleaning Mackey's.
Oh yeah, exactly. They want to keep the place nice. If the place isn't clean, people aren't going to want to sit in and eat, and then they aren't going to buy more food.
It is disgusting.
Well, it sounds like you weren't doing your job properly.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Hey there.
You just said it was your job to keep it nice and clean, but it was fucking disgusting.
In there.
Yeah, because we've got some of the people left in the toilets. I'm traumatized.
Ah, that makes sense.
Anyway, it's time to deal with Francesco before he deals with Lorenzo. So we blend in with the crowd, but before we can strike, Francesco and his men leap into action, assassinating Lorenzo's brother and attempting to kill Lorenzo too, but he does a better job of not getting stabbed and only gets hit once before we jump in to save him. We deal with the Borgia guards and try to take out Francesco there and then, but he enables God mode and runs off, leaving us to help Lorenzo to safety amid a civil war of Medici and Borgia guards. With Lorenzo safe, we head for the Palazzo della Signoria to take down Francesco, which is as easy as sneaking off to the side, climbing up to the top, dealing with a few guards, and oh, he's jumped off. After taking a leaf out of Ezio's book and landing in a card of flowers / leaves / I'm not sure what's in there, we chase Lorenzo through the streets and across rooftops before finally getting our hands around his neck and a blade in his back. Since he has nothing much to say, we watch as the people hang his stripped body from the Palazzo walls and revel in earning Bloody Sunday for completing Sequence 4.
Bloody Sunday. Complete Sequence 4. Not bad, really. And a new milestone. That's not bad either. Hey!
Back on the bridge where we first met Ezio, Lorenzo tells us a story of our father saving his life one day when he fell into the Arno and beginning a long friendship between our 2 families. He also tells us the Pazzi conspirators fled the city in all the commotion, and since we need more people to kill and they're likely involved in the plot against the Auditores anyway, we decide they're our next targets. Before we go though, Lorenzo gives us another codex page which, when we take it to Leonardo, gives us the Poison Blade upgrade. Now I'm not a big fan of this upgrade, simply because I don't really use it, but it does have its uses, such as getting the achievement Doctor, which we get for performing an air assassination on a poisoned NPC. This is much easier to do on a rooftop since there are plenty of chimneys and platforms around, so all you need to do is sneak up on a guard, stab him with your stinger, hop up on a platform and jump back on top of him, and bam, you're a doctor now. I'm not sure if this is a reference to anything. It might be a callback to Leonardo saying you can buy poisons from doctors because
In high enough doses, that which cures can kill.
But then why do we need to air assassinate them? In fact, at first I forgot that was part of the trophy and ran around poisoning guards at random and getting into fights and wondering why it wasn't popping. I don't know. If you can think of what else this could be a reference to, let me know in the comments. With that sorted, I dye my robes and head off for Tuscany, but since I was coming to the end of my first play session, I wanted to see if I could squeeze in a couple more trophies, so I head to a nearby pigeon coop and get a request from Lorenzo to assassinate a Pazzi associate at a nearby farm. I pull the guy into a cart for a nap and get the trophy assassin for hire. Then I throw 300 florins on the floor for the trophy man of the people, which thanks to our villa upgrades is practically petty cash for us now. Win a race against the thief for the trophy steal home, which I'm ashamed to say I didn't get on my first try when I absolutely should have, and street cleaner for hiding 5 bodies in a bale of hay, which was a lot harder than I thought since I didn't realise they all had to be in a single hay bale. I was running around for a while just killing guards and hiding them in the nearest pile of hay, and then when I realised I'd definitely done it more than 5 times, I had to find some hay with a decent amount of nearby guards and lure them all into a fight so I could somehow stuff them all into one single hay pile. Mario gives us some more fighting tips, we hunt down some more codex pages, find more glyphs and solve their puzzles, and finally purchase every upgrade for the villa, meaning we can now focus on buying things like pouches, artwork, weapons and armour, all of which will also increase the rent we get every 20 minutes, but will also get us a few trophies later on. We head to the Torre Grossa and get the achievement I Can See Your House From Here for completing the tomb inside. I wonder why they named it that. This one can be a bit tricky as there's quite a few hidden and unusual paths you need to take, but if you climb enough walls, you'll eventually find your way out with another seal.
Hey dude. How you doing? Doing okay in there? Okay, good talk. Oh, wrong way. That was less cool than I expected. I want to go this way now.
With that done, we might as well finally deal with the Pazzi conspirators, and they all act as mini assassination missions. One's nervously pacing in a market square, so we hide in a nearby well and wait for him to pass by so we can introduce him to Sadako. Another's gone mad and has stood atop a tall tower spewing nonsense, so we climb up and pull him down. The guard we take the mission from warned us of archers on the nearby towers posing a threat, but they literally didn't give a single fuck I was there. I even put in the effort and waited for them to turn around, but no matter where I climbed, they either didn't notice me or didn't want to. The next guy had actually put effort into his defense and barricaded himself inside a mini fortress with a small army, but since we had our own small army to take most of the aggro, it wasn't too hard to infiltrate the fort and take him out. Finally, the last guy was hiding in a monastery and openly telling the other priest that he doesn't care at all about religion, he literally just wanted the power that came with the position. So we hop in a nearby hay bale and jump scare him. The guard who gave us this mission gave us some smoke bombs to help us escape, but I kinda forgot about those despite the text on screen reminding me, so I just fight all the other pretend priests, steal a horse and take off for the city. Now that his underlings are taken care of, Jacopo de Pazzi has nowhere to hide and we can follow him. Okay, my recording stopped working. Even worse, I didn't realise until after the mission and sequence was completed, and then it did it again right as Lorenzo was rewarding us with the Medici cape.
You have acquired the Medici cape. Although we missed the scene of you actually getting it, because fucking OBS. We couldn't have done that while I was like running around on rooftops and doing fuck all unimportant things. No, it did it right as we achieved complete sequence 5 and right as we're given the Medici cape. I wish I could say why as well. I wish I could be like, oh, you know, it hit peak like power or something, you know, there was a power surge. And it was like, we can't do it anymore. But no, it was just like, nah, we're going to freeze frame, and then fuck you.
Well, with that sorted, we head off to see Leonardo again, but turns out he's been commissioned and is heading for Venice, so we set out to catch up with him. We find him in the mountains with a broken cart, so we help him get back on his feet. Or wheels.
What is this thing?
Eh?
It looks like a giant bat.
Oh, nothing. Just an idea I've been working on. I could not leave it behind.
What is it for?
Well, I shouldn't really talk about it. Al diavolo, I can't hold it in anymore. Ezio, I think I figured out how to make a man fly.
With Chekhov's bad established, we get back on the road, but it doesn't take long for Borgia guards to turn up and do everything they can to stop us. From jumping on the wagon and making fire traps on the floor to burning down an entire bridge no doubt used by the local population. Fortunately, we have plenty of plot armor left, so we make it past all these obstacles. Barely, and send Leonardo on ahead while we take care of the guards. After a quick scuffle, we continue on our way and find ourselves in Forli. And since we're in a new area, we leave Leo screaming for us down at the docks for a bit and head off to do some side questing, synchronizing some viewpoints, solving more puzzles, and of course grabbing a couple of trophies. First we head to the Rocca di Ravaldino fortress and complete the Assassin's Tomb there, which earns us the trophy Prison Escape and leaves us with only 2 seals left to find, both of them in Venice where we're about to head off to. Then we quickly grab the trophy Perfect Harmony for dyeing our clothes both Wetland Ebony and Wetland Ivory, before finally heading over to join Leonardo. The only problem is Venice has been having some trouble with vampires recently, so you're only allowed to enter the city if you have an invitation. Fortunately, a nearby damsel in distress who we rescue from one of the marsh islands turns out to be Caterina Sforza, Countess of Forli, who kindly talks to the ship's captain and gets us passage aboard the ship, and the trophy An Unexpected Journey for completing Sequence 6. Now that's a reference I get. With Ezio adrift at sea for a while, now seems like the perfect time to hop out of the Animus for a quick break and test how well Desmond has picked up his abilities. Lucy leads us back down to the warehouse and has us activate some terminals around the room while she lore dumps about Subject 16 and Abstergo. With that sorted, we head back upstairs for some rest, but suddenly start seeing visions. I say suddenly, we've actually had 1 or 2 before, but none as long as this, and all of a sudden we're back with Altair despite not being in the Animus. If you're unsure who Altair is, he's the protagonist from the first game. You know how we're playing Ezio in this one? It was Altair in the first one. We chase a hooded figure through Acre, over rooftops and up onto the parapet before scaling a tower and catching up with them, where it turns out to be Maria! We tried to kill her in the first game, but now we're apparently trying to spear her with something else. After getting busy, Altair dips out, but we don't go with him.
Wait a second. Why aren't I following Altair? I'm stuck here with Maria? Oh shit. That must be... This is one weird dream.
Back in the Animus the next day, we arrive in Venice and escort Leonardo around the city with a tour guide. We see the Rialto Bridge, visit the markets and see a merchant get assaulted, get robbed by a passing thief, see the same merchant get falsely imprisoned, and finally arrive at Leonardo's workshop, perfectly copy-pasted from Florence. With Leonardo safe at home, we head off to the Palazzo della Seta to seek an audience with Emilio Barbarigo, one of the Templar conspirators. But as we're scouting the joint, a group of thieves storm the guards and the one who robbed us earlier slips in behind and tries to scale the walls. She's quickly taken down by some archers though and makes a run for it right into us, but there's no time for small talk no matter how much Ezio tries. She needs help getting out of here. We race through the streets of Venice, fighting off guards every few corners and eventually carrying her to a nearby boat where she would be safe if it weren't for even more archers further along the path. What follows is, for me, one of the most annoying missions in the game. Not because it's difficult, it's actually quite simple. All you need to do is clear the way for Rosa and Ugo to sail to safety. But despite how many times they say to go on ahead and clear the way, if you do go too far away, you're told to reduce the distance to your target, and if you don't, then they just stay where they are. So even though you could easily actually scout ahead and take out all the guards and wait for them at the end, you're instead stuck babysitting them all the way back to the hideout. Anyway, once we get Rosa to safety, we meet Antonio, leader of the Thieves Guild in Venice, and decide to help him mount another attack on the Palazzo by doing a few missions for him. First and most importantly, we speak with Rosa, who's healing wonderfully in the 2 minutes we've been away, and she teaches us how to leap further up walls while climbing, which will be very useful later on. We then hunt down 3 traitorous thieves in the guild and take them out before heading over to see Ugo and free some captured thieves scattered around the district. Finally, Ugo tells us to meet him by the docks for another mission and tells us we need to head out and collect a bunch of guard outfits and a boat for the plan.
I'm not a particular big fan of Ugo. Partially because, you know, he's straight up, like, hostile towards us right from the off. But then also, it feels like we do everything. Which I suppose you could put on Antonio. But this very much seems like Ugo's deal. I mean, he's like, oh, I've got a plan. Meet me by the docks. I'll tell more later. Da, da, da. It very much feels like he's doing this. And not necessarily without Antonio's consent. But like, it feels like this is his plan and you're doing everything. It's like, oh yeah, we need to go and I know you freed all those guys because I couldn't, but also we're going to get some archer outfits, so could you go get those from these looted areas, please? Oh, and then also get a boat and bring it to me so we can sneak them in. It's like, okay, what are you doing, bro? Are you doing anything? Like, what are you going to be doing while I'm sorting all this out for you? You're going to be sitting on your ass fucking jerking it? Like, what are you doing?
With that sorted, it's finally time to strike the Palazzo and take out Emilio Barbarigo. We head to the rooftops and take out the archers, allowing the disguised thieves to take their place, and thanks to the leap action Rosa taught us, they give us relatively easy access to the rooftops of the Palazzo, where we would usually wait for Emilio to wander around until he's underneath us, but for some reason he stays in this little weird corridor area, so I have to improvise. A small detail I like as the game goes on is that the targets are aware of the assassin and are clearly freaked out when they hear he's around and hunting them. Ubisoft could have easily written them all to be arrogant and ignorant of the threat he poses, but hearing them stammer when he gets mentioned is pretty cool. With Emilio dead, Antonio and Rosa and all the other thieves take out the other guards way too easily and the Palazzo is liberated, getting us the achievement The Merchant of Venice for completing Sequence 7. Emilio was meeting with a man called Carlo Grimaldi, so he becomes our next main target, but again, I was reaching the end of my session, so I wanted to squeeze in some last minute trophies, both of which we need to head back to Florence for. Thanks to Rosa's parkour lesson, we can now scale the tallest tower in the game and leap from the top, which gives us the trophy High Dive. Then we quickly head over to an art store and buy a painting, which gives us the achievement Art Connoisseur for buying a painting in both Florence and Venice. Back in the floating city, we head to the Basilica di San Marco and complete the Assassin's Tomb there, which isn't particularly difficult but consists of 4 different parkour challenges which you only have a limited time to complete, so make sure you pay attention to the path the camera shows you for each one or you'll be taking the walk of shame back to the start. With another tomb seal and the trophy Hallowed Be Thy Name under our belt, we head off to eavesdrop on more Templars as they very loudly and openly talk about their plans to kill the Doge that night. Despite the fact that we have several Templar conspirators and the Grand Master right in front of us, and by their own admission,
He could be anywhere. He could be here right now and we might not even know.
we somehow managed to lose sight of all of them on the Rialto Bridge. You know those structures which famously tend to only have 2 points of exit? Unless of course Rodrigo fancied a swim back to Rome. Anyway, with time running short to save the Doge, we head to see Antonio and scout out the Palazzo, but when that bears no fruit, Antonio mentions only birds can get inside, so we head to see Leonardo and the flying machine he's been working on. After a test flight sends us into the Venice canals, Leonardo has a brainwave and realizes the bat needs heat to stay in the air, so we head out to do some stabbies and clear the way for Antonio's men to build bonfires along the path to the Palazzo. With that sorted, we head to the rooftops, fasten our seatbelts, make sure our seats are in the upright position, and prepare for takeoff. But as we take flight, there's only one thing on my mind. kicking one of these poor unfortunate souls right on the noggin. Because in doing so, we get the achievement Fly Swatter and can continue to crash over and over and over again until we bail out on the palazzo roof and save the Doge.
You are too late. The Doge is dead.
Shit. Well, at least we can avenge his death and get the achievement The Impenetrable Palazzo while we're at it.
Oh yeah, what were you doing, bro? Dude, your Doge is dead here. Don't come fighting me. Your Doge is dead here. Look at the amount of guards. Look at him. Look over here, mate. Follow me over here, will you? Are you gonna follow it? Oh, see, he's gone to the Doge. Shit, the Doge is dead. Oh, must have been the wind. What was that noise? Hey, you! Get back here! Nothing to see here, eh? Oh, no. Oh, well, that's that then. Hold on a minute. Who could that be? What are you doing? I better go get that guy. Now, where was he? Can't remember. It was a minute ago. Where was he? I've just seen him. Oh, what? Where could he be? Oh, well. Better go back to my spot. Must have been the wind. Oh, who are you? What are you doing? Is that can't be. No, surely. Surely not. No. Must have been the wind. I'm having far too much fun with this. Well, must be nothing. Who the fuck are you? That was far too much fun. That shouldn't have been as much fun as it was.
With that sorted, we've unlocked the final Assassin's Tomb and head on down to get the seal at the end of a semi-difficult parkour section, which has very little room for error, or you've got to start all over again. There's also a giant squid Easter egg here, but I only managed to get the first cutscene to play. If the stars aligned and it's a good luck day, then the squid will also take a swipe at you with its tentacle.
Here it is. Giant squid. Hello. That's creepy. That's creepier than I remember.
Anyway, now that we have all the seals and the trophy Venetian gladiator for doing so, we head back to the villa and get the armour of Altair, so we're as strong now as we will be all game.
Woo! Big 80% start. Nice. Just by putting the seals in. Wow, maybe I should be inputting those into the things faster. I'm eating again, sorry. Maybe I shouldn't wait for a dramatic reveal like this every time, which is what I usually do. Maybe I should be coming down and putting them in.
Then it's back to Venice to deal with the rest of the Templars. It's Carnival, so our first stop is Leonardo's place to get a mask and a gun upgrade for the Hidden Blade. Leo tells us of a friend who may help us, Sister Teodora, who runs a brothel nearby where Antonio happens to be hanging out too. With our accomplices in tow, we head to the festivities of Carnival with the intention of winning a golden mask, which will give us access to a VIP party where Marco Barbarigo will be making a rare public appearance. To get the mask, all we have to do is complete a few party games handily tailored to our skill set. There's a challenge based around pickpocketing ribbons from nearby groups of women, which I think the implication is meant to be that we're sweet-talking them and they're giving the ribbons to us for being so charming, when gameplay-wise we're literally going on a thieving spree. There's a race challenge like the ones dotted around the rest of the map, and finally a game of capture the flag, which is made much easier by having good armour, since the best way I found to win every time is to just run straight forward and leap off the rooftop down to the ground, grab the flag, turn to the right, climb back up to the rooftop and back to the starting spot, remembering to heal at some point before doing the jump again. With the 3 games complete, we show off our combat skills in the final game, which starts off as a simple fistfight, but when it becomes evident we're going to win, the Templars bribe the ref and now we're facing off armed guards. They're quickly dealt with though, and now with the game's over, we go to claim our prize. But unsurprisingly, the Templars have rigged the game again and given the mask to Dante the bodyguard. Now how are we going to get inside the party? What are we going to do? It's impossible! Oh, okay. With the mask in hand, we sneak into the VIP party, blend with the crowd, wait for Marco, and when Santa finally shows his face, we take him out with our handy-dandy gun and get the trophy Masquerade for completing Sequence 9. With Marco dead, his cousin Agostino, a friend of the Assassins, will take his place, but if we want to stop Silvio and Dante before they flee to Cyprus, then we'll need the help of another friend, Bartolomeo. Bad news! He and all his men have been imprisoned! Good news! It's so easy to free them. After we free Bartolomeo and escort him to his barracks so we can find Bianca, we head out and collect his men from their own cells and bring them back to the barracks to regroup, then straight back out again to strategic points around the district and signal them with a firework to start causing a ruckus in the streets, distracting Silvio's guards and opening the way for us to stop them getting on a ship to Cyprus, and instead sending them with the ferryman to the afterlife, getting us the achievement Bianca's Man and completing Sequence 10. An amount of time later, it's Ezio's birthday, and he sat brooding over the last 10 years of his life with Rosa until Leonardo hurries over and insists we talk. He reveals to us that while deciphering the codex pages we brought him, he's translated another part of the prophecy Mario told us was hidden in the codex, this time foretelling that the prophet will appear when the second piece is brought to the floating city. Ezio realizes the ship to Cyprus wasn't an escape mission, but an expedition to find the piece of Eden there and bring it back to Venice, and we plan to intercept it when it arrives. But since the ship won't return until tomorrow, we have some time to get some other trophies. Earlier, while collecting rent from the villa, I took the time to visit the man-at-arms and learn the special moves needed for some of the trophies, so it's time for some fighting. Sweeper requires us to knock down 5 enemies at once with a long weapon, which isn't too difficult as long as your game doesn't keep crashing like mine did. The hardest part of this trophy was just finding a spearman close enough to another group of guards I could lure in the way to snag the trophy, but after a couple of tries and crashes, we managed to bring them down. And not long after, we get the trophy Messer Sandman for throwing sand in the faces of 4 guards at once. Finally, we head back to the villa, collect some rent, and buy everything that's left to buy. Every weapon, small weapon, armor, pouch, if it can be bought, we're buying it. And all that shopping gets us the trophy Victory Lies in Preparation. And since we're as prepared as we can be, we head back to Venice to meet the ship from Cyprus. But we're not the only one watching the ship.
Uncle Mario?
We tail the courier along the streets of Venice for what feels like an age before he finally decides to hide in a corner so we can drop in for a visit and replace him. We then escort the cargo around the corner and meet Rodrigo Borgia, who claims he's the prophet the legend spoke of and demands the apple. But fortunately, for some reason, he's very weak to throwing knives, so we deal with phase 1 of the fight pretty easily. Then he calls in some guards and we take a moment to get rid of them, when suddenly, allies come from all around us. Or at least, all our male allies, because for some reason we couldn't possibly have women fighting in this game about killing people. Like, I can understand Claudia and Maria not fighting because they're nobles who probably don't have any actual combat experience, but Paola and Teodora are actual assassins and run brothels. They've seen a fight or two, they should be out here too. Oh yeah, spoiler alert, all these guys are assassins and have been guiding us through the game to make us one too. And Niccolo Machiavelli's here as well, because, you know, why not?
So you can do a leap of faith. There's a point earlier on where I'm wondering why he doesn't do a leap of faith off the thing. I was saying, oh, maybe the animation wasn't there for him to do it. He's right there. He just did it. And we also just did the Prophet for sequence 11, which is cool. He's only got a couple of sequences left. These are the DLC ones now as well.
Knowing we're in the last stretch of the game, I decide now's the time to tie up some loose ends, starting with the trophy No Hitter, which requires us to kill 10 guards while remaining in combat and not getting hit. I was actually trying to get this achievement at the same time as Sweeper and Messer Sandman, but I just couldn't manage it, partially through getting hit every now and again, but also because of a secret mechanic in the game called Fear Factor. Fear is triggered in guards when you counter enough attacks, causing them to run away and end combat. But when you're trying to keep combat going as long as possible, that becomes a bit of an issue. Especially because I personally prefer fighting with the hidden blades as my main weapon, using swords and daggers as little as possible. This isn't part of any challenge except for myself. The hidden blades are an instant kill on a successful counter and even work against some bosses, but the trade-off is that the window for you to counter is much smaller, so you have to be very precise if you're trying to, oh I don't know, kill 10 guards in a row without getting hit? Even worse is that the hidden blades seem to raise the fear factor faster than other weapons, so even when I fought more aggressively and only countered when I didn't feel safe dodging, entire troops of guards would just run away at a certain point. I tried every loophole I could think of. I tried using smoke bombs like people online suggested, but I couldn't make that work with the blade since it would immediately take me out of combat. I tried getting a huge group of enemies together, so even if some ran away, there'd still be some left fighting, but apparently at a certain point, literally every hostile NPC will flee. And the game crashed again when there were too many guards on screen. I even tried hiring mercenaries and other helpers, but they only got in the way or died too quickly to be of any help. Finally, I accepted that getting this achievement with hidden blades was not going to happen, or at least I couldn't find a way to do it, so with a heavy heart, I drew my blade. And it still didn't work, they were still running away way too quickly. In the end, the only way I could think to do it was to get into a fight with some guards, kill most of them, then lead the stragglers to another group of fresh guards, rinse and repeat. And if you're trying to do this yourself, the Palazzo from earlier is a great spot for lots of guards who you can easily navigate to join the fight or avoid for later.
These guys we want to take out, like, straight away, fast as we can. They're free kills, essentially. Get rid of him. There's another one. 2. Just keep an eye out for counters. 3. 4. Five. 6. Now we just stick with this guy. Let's go get this guy. 7. And we've got a group coming up here. Eight. 9. This should be it. This should be it. This should be the last guy. Yes! No hitter! Oh, got it. Got it. Come over here, you. Hey. Update. There we go. We got it. Oh!
With that nightmare over, it's time for a new one. I'd only collected a handful of feathers throughout the game so far, but I'll need all of them to get the auditory cape from Maria for the trophy Show Your Colours, which requires us to wear the cape in all the cities, and since I know sequences 12 and 13 would take us to Forlì and Florence respectively, I figured it was time to bite the bullet and go in search of all those feathers. I obviously used a guide, but even then I managed to mess up a few times and had to backtrack across most of Venice to finally find the last one.
This is it. This is the last one. There we go. In memory of Petruchio. Collect all feathers. Now we can go trade that in and get the auditory cape.
And that's exactly what we do. We head straight back to the villa and give all the feathers to Maria, who speaks for the first time since the start of the game and thanks us for not forgetting about her. Which is a little ironic since fairly early on I decided to just do one big bulk delivery of the feathers when I found them all, so we haven't actually been to visit Maria practically all game. Yeah, sorry about that, Mum. Anyway, with the auditory cape in hand, or on back, we head to Tuscany and hire every group of courtesans we can see, which is a lot because for some reason they're around every corner in this city, and since I've been passively hiring any courtesans I've come across throughout the game, it only takes a lap or two of the city before we pop the trophy Red Light Addict for spending 5,000 florins on courtesans. Ezio might want to get tested after this. Then we head to Venice and walk around pickpocketing as many people as possible, which quickly gets us the achievement Kleptomaniac for stealing 1,000 florins. A bit too quickly for my liking, since I remembered reading somewhere a long time ago that you need to wear the auditory cape for at least 5 minutes in each city, so just to be safe I did some side quests while I was there, then headed off to Forlì to start the DLC sequences. Since these chapters weren't part of the original game and the Ezio trilogy decided not to update the trophy list, you don't actually get any trophies for completing these sequences, and since they're pretty short, I'm just going to run through what happens real quick. At the behest of Mario and Machiavelli, we take the apple to Forlì, where it should be safe with Caterina Sforza, the countess we rescued before heading to Venice and now ruler of Forlì. Unfortunately, when we arrive, the city has been attacked by a band of mercenaries led by the Orsi brothers, and we have to find our way back into the citadel, where it turns out the brothers have kidnapped 2 of Caterina's children and she begs us to get them back. So we leave the apple with them and go on a rescue mission. The first child's just outside the city walls with a few soldiers around her, and the others atop a tower guarded by one of the Orsi brothers, who ominously alludes to our rescue mission being a grave mistake. We should race back to the citadel, but I take a moment to find the last glyph and solve the puzzle, getting us the trophy Vitruvian Man for unlocking all of Subject 16's video. Bad news! The apple's been stolen by the remaining Orsi brother! Good news! He's literally around the corner. Machiavelli tells us he ran off into the mountains, but he's just a stone's throw away. He's barely outside the city walls. In Machiavelli's defense, I think he does hide in the mountains in the book, but it's been over a decade since I last read that, so I may be wrong. Anyway, more good news. We got the apple back. More bad news. We get stabbed and the apple is immediately stolen again. When we recover, we waste no time and go on the hunt for the monk who took our junk, and learn that he's an eccentric called Savonarola who was shunned into retirement and has since gone to Florence with the apple and taken control of the city, so much so that even the Templars haven't been able to get a foothold against him. As usual, we take the sneakier approach and are tasked with taking out all of his captains to weaken his power over the people. I like how some of these guys are written to already have desires for power and just seize the opportunity when it arrived, and some are shocked by their own actions, deep down knowing they allowed it to happen, but still ashamed of what they've done. After an entire game of killing almost exclusively men in power who chose that life, it's interesting to see targets who realise they're out of their depth. With all the captains dead, the people rise up against Savonarola and drag him away, forcing him to drop the apple and allowing us to take it back. The people take Savonarola to the Palazzo della Signoria to be burned alive, but Ezio takes pity on him and ends his misery quickly, then drops a monologue so good I'm shocked it didn't make it into the final cut of the original base game. And the music slaps too.
Silenzio! Silenzio! 22 years ago, I stood where I stand now, and watched my loved ones die, betrayed by those I had called friends. Vengeance clouded my mind. It would have consumed me, were it not for the wisdom of a few strangers, who taught me to look past my instincts. They never preached answers, but guided me to learn from myself. With don't need anyone to tell us what to do. Not Savonarola, not the Medici. We are free to follow our own path. There are those who will take that freedom from us. Too many of you gladly give it. But it is our ability to choose whatever you think is true that makes us human. There is no book or teacher to give you the answers, to show you the path. Choose your own way. Do not follow me or anyone else.
Now you may be thinking, hey, you've won the cape in all 4 cities, why hasn't the trophy popped? And that's exactly what I was thinking, but it turns out there's another area you need to wear the cape that the trophy doesn't specify. For some reason, the area called the Mountains, most likely because it's in the mountains with no other real landmark or monument there, is considered by the game to be a city. So you actually need to wear the cape in all the cities and the mountain area to get the trophy show your colours. The more you know. Now it's time to finish things up. We head to the villa and realise that the vault from the prophecy is located in Rome, and to make matters worse, Rodrigo Borgia became Pope in 1492, meaning not only is he the most powerful man in Italy, but he also possesses the other piece of Eden from the prophecy, the papal staff. With time against us, we rush to Rome and sneak our way into the Sistine Chapel where Rodrigo was leading a sermon. We drop from the rafters and knock him down, but for some reason, Ezio takes this opportunity to reflect on his life and his motivations, giving Rodrigo enough time to recover and fight back. But he can't control us like he does the baffled congregation, since we still have the apple with us, and with it we can go full Alma Lim mode and duplicate ourselves to confuse him. This is kind of unnecessary though, since Rodrigo's new papal robes are still terrible at protecting him from throwing knives, so we turn him into a pincushion again until his plot armor kicks in and he steals the apple from us. But he makes the classic villain mistake of only injuring us before he leaves and not making sure we're actually dead, meaning before you know it, despite having a massive stab wound in our torso, we're back up on our feet in no time and chasing him down into the sci-fi underbelly of the Sistine Chapel, where Rodrigo is desperately trying to open the door to the vault to no avail. Since we need a last little bit of exposition from the old man, Ezio challenges him to a fistfight, and for some reason, Rodrigo agrees, so we get to beat the ever-loving shit out of the Pope, and of course, we win. But since the real Rodrigo Borgia didn't die until 1503, we can't kill him here, so for plot reasons, Ezio lets him live, and after getting the Vault Trophy for completing Sequence 14, he heads over to the Vault door and unlocks it himself, where we get one of the most mindfuck cliffhangers I've ever experienced, especially as a 12-year-old seeing this for the first time. When we enter the vault, we meet Minerva, a weird spirit projection of one of the Isu, one of the ones who came before. She talks to Ezio, but also directly to Desmond, since Ezio's the prophet and acts as an anchor for Desmond so Minerva can speak to him through Ezio's memories. She reveals that humans were made by her kind at the dawn of creation, but in time humans betrayed the Yisu and war broke out. Because of this, they didn't realise a natural disaster was about to occur and it nearly wiped them all out, so they strove to put protections in place to make sure it wouldn't happen again. But now that they're gone, we need to find the other temples and learn their secrets to save the world, setting up the plot for the next handful of games. With the message delivered, Minerva vanishes and we leave Ezio in the bowels of the Sistine Chapel, because back in the real world the Templars have found us, so we need to make tracks. Lucy gives us our own hidden blade and takes us down to the warehouse to fend off the guards while Sean and Rebecca pack up the van, and once we deal with them we get one last standoff with Vidic, the evil bastard from the first game, then he takes off leaving us to flee the warehouse too. As the credits roll, Rebecca plugs us back into the Animus, and as we load in...
Oh, there we go. An old friend returns. Escape the hideout, which should mean... Master Assassin. Unlock all trophies. Let's go, we got it. Woo! Oh. I've just got 2 more to go. So, Brotherhood next, I guess.